September 23rd was National Plug-in Day, and more than a dozen electric vehicles of all types gathered in front of the Capitol to show off their wares. This is a rather familiar-looking Toyota Prius, but this is the new generation of the Prius, which has plug-in capability, so it's called a plug-in hybrid. This is the Fisker Karma, a high-tech plug-in hybrid that's just coming on the market, and it's very luxurious. One of the interesting features of the Fisker Karma is the solar panel on the roof, which, as I understand, is used to charge the 12-volt battery in the car for accessories, not necessarily to make the car run farther. Don't know if you can read that, but the bottom line on the vehicle price, the sticker price, is $116,000. The Chevy Volt is a plug-in hybrid that went on sale about a year or so ago, and it focuses more on using its electric motor than its gasoline engine. What's it like owning a Volt?
Oh, it's a wonderful experience. I mean, I've been able to drive this car. If you saw on the dash here, I've gone 16,000 miles, and I've only used 4.2 gallons of gasoline.
Wow.
Now, that's not your typical experience, but you can actually achieve numbers like that if you try.
Do you plug it in?
Sure. I have 220 at home, so I plug it in, and about every hour you get about 11, 12 miles of range.
So what difference has it made to your home electric cost?
About $45 a month.
Per month?
Yes.
Okay.
And I drive 1,700 miles per month, so it's a huge savings.
And you think the trade-off is acceptable to you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've, no regrets at all.
Okay. Now, I noticed when you started the car, you started it by pushing that blue button there in the center of the screen. Do you need a key for the...
You need, there's a little transponder. You have your key, and in that key, it has to be within the car. If it's not in the car, it won't let you start it.
So you have it in your pocket or something like
correct.
that? Okay. Otherwise, driving the car, is there anything different about driving it than driving any other car? I mean, you have a shift lever, you have pedals and turn signals and everything else?
Yeah, there's a few differences. One, if you're driving at low speed, it's almost totally quiet. If you're in your neighborhood, people can't even hear you.
So you're on electric and it's just nearly dead silent?
Absolutely. And there's actually an additional horn that they added. It's called the pedestrian horn.
Now, what happens when the gas motor comes on? Does that, can you tell when it comes on?
Yes. Well, first of all, right here, you see where the green battery is. That'll switch to a gas tank when that switches over. For me, that actually hasn't happened very often, but that's what will happen. It happens totally seamlessly, where it'll switch over, and then the engine doesn't start immediately, but probably within a minute, the engine will turn on. Now, the engine isn't propelling the car.
Okay.
The engine is just charging the battery still.
Okay.
The battery actually never is worn all the way down to zero, and it's never actually charged all the way up. That's why the battery has an 8-year warranty.
So the gasoline engine never actually powers the wheels. It powers a generator that in turn helps resupply the battery that powers the wheels.
Right, mostly. There's one exception. If you're going over 70 miles an hour, then it actually does propel the wheels because they found it has a little better efficiency that way.
The Volt is targeted at low to mid-range car buyers. This is a Tesla, and it is targeted at a luxury buyer. This is the inside of the Tesla sedan. It looks very neat and tidy, and I'm not exactly sure what you can tell looking at it, but it looks very upscale to me. This is the other car made by Tesla. This is the Tesla Roadster. The Tesla Roadster is based on a Lotus chassis and looks reminiscent of the Lotus. This is the Ford Focus Electric. It is an all-electric car, and of course there has been a Focus gasoline version for many years, but this is the new all-electric version now for sale here in the U.S. This homely looking vehicle is a Mitsubishi i-MiEV. It's got an equally homely name. However, what's not homely about it is its sticker price. This is a Nissan Leaf, a completely electric car with no gasoline engine to fall back on. Under the hood of the Nissan Leaf, interesting, on the right it's got a traditional 12-volt battery, and then it sure looks like a gas motor, but my understanding is that this is an all-electric car, so that's apparently not a gas motor. Just happens to kind of look like one from the top. So you're the owner of this Nissan Leaf. What's your impression of it?
I really love it. I've had it for 5 months now, and I really love not only just the ability to drive by gasoline stations, but it's a reliable car. I get in the morning, and I know I'm going to be able to drive at least 100 miles, maybe 110 miles that day. In the evening, I plug it in. It costs me $1 worth of electricity. And that's if I'm paying for it.
Sure.
If I want, I can pull into one of the markets around, like Mom's Market or some of the other places that have got free electricity, like at my work, and I could plug it in, and now it doesn't cost me anything to run it.
Yeah.
There's no gasoline, that means no oil changes, no tune-ups.
So how does it compare to driving a traditional gasoline car?
It has tremendous amount of pickup. It's easy to drive. It's so quiet inside, and the electronics are state-of-the-art.
There's even an all-electric Porsche 914, although he's having a little trouble getting it to work this morning. This was a conversion job that somebody did, and it's got a few miles on it, quite a few actually. This is a Zero brand motorcycle. That's the manufacturer, Zero, and it is an electric motorcycle. This is a Vectrix electric scooter. Looks pretty zoomy. Here we have a funny little three-wheeled electric vehicle. All electric, it's a home-built thing, including a home-built dashboard. Several car manufacturers made electric vehicles right around the year 2000, the end of the 1990s and the early 2000s. They didn't last very long, but this is a Toyota. I guess it's a Toyota RAV4, a 2002 model. In lovely shape, still used every day. We went for a test ride and then a test drive in a Ford Focus Electric, and I was really impressed by just how quiet the car is. It is very, very quiet. When it was my turn to drive, at one point I had to really step on the gas pedal and get going, and whoosh, the car took off. Very, very impressive.
So it's got, there are only two things you can add to the electric Focus. You can get the leather seats and you can get a premium paint. Otherwise they come with everything that they're going to come with.
I love the promise of electric cars, but with the price they are today, it's a little hard to pull the trigger and go out and buy one, especially when I own a couple of traditional gasoline cars. But the next couple of years will tell whether or not electric cars are going to be successful or not.